In this video, we got another episode of this series where I do rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams over on Twitter at @XEvanTanaka. I'll usually put out a tweet every 3 to 4 days asking for your guys' squads. You guys will reply to that tweet with your team, how much MT you guys have, and then you do have a chance to be featured in one of these videos. But looking at the first squad of the video here, guys, is going to be sent in from Game 7. He says, I know there's not much to improve, but I would love to be featured in your video I watch every day. He has 1.5 million MT. So shout out to you for obviously watching the videos. I do really appreciate it. But looking at your squad, yes, there's obviously not many upgrades you could do, but with 1.5 mil, I'm looking at Kareem, and Kareem is a really good center card. If you're just trying to save some MT, honestly, go grind for Rudy Gobert and play him over Kareem. He may not be as good as Kareem, but he gives you like 90% of what Kareem does, and he might be just as good, you know, if you do like his jump shot or if you can green with his jump shot consistently. I would probably do that, save some MT, and then maybe look to make a huge upgrade. I think also getting Dark Matter Michael Beasley is a big upgrade over Tim Thomas. I do think you could try to find one that's maybe got 20 legend badges for, like, I don't know how much they go for, but try to find a 20 legend badge Beasley, and that card's probably going to play in your lineup for the rest of the year until we get to like GOAT cards and everybody has like invincibles and GOATs. So I think getting Dark Matter Beasley and grinding for Rudy Gobert could be two huge upgrades. I'm also not a big fan of Anthony Davis. I think you could really upgrade Anthony Davis, and one way you could do that is even move Dikembe to your starting power forward position, have Tim Duncan as your backup power forward, and then go out and try to get Galaxy Wemby. He's a card that's gone down in price quite significantly with the downtown super packs. So I do think that's a really smart idea. If we go Galaxy Wemby at the starting center position, and then off the bench you have Dikembe Mutombo as your backup power forward. So I think those are my suggestions for your squad. But yes, you already have a really good team, but I think those are the upgrades you can make with the MT and the squad you have. Looking at the next squad coming in from John Paul, he says, this is my third time to reply and I hope you'll help me now. I have 280k MT. Should I sell my Invincible Wemby to rebuild my squad or keep him? So you got Invincible Wemby that you can sell, and as much as that card is an absolute beast and he's the best card in this game, and as much as he's going to carry you to wins and you already have a really good squad, I'm telling you, sell that card. I understand he is really, really good and he's the best card in this game, but he won't be the best card in this game probably this weekend, and that's because I think we'll be getting our first GO card. Maybe he'll still be better than whoever we get as our first GO card, but once we start seeing GO cards, he's going to go down in price, and he's also not going to be the best card in this game. So in my opinion, yes, Wemby's an absolute beast, but I do think you sell that card because, I mean, he's going for 10 plus mil on Xbox. I don't know if you're on Xbox or PlayStation, but he's probably going for 10 mil on both consoles and PC, even if you play on PC. I mean, sell him, dude. 10 million MT. You can make some upgrades with, you know, to your squad, obviously with that 10 mil, and just downgrade. Go get his Galaxy Opal. Have Wemby and Dikembe in the front court. I think that's an amazing front court in this game. Go get Galaxy Opal Wemby for 500-600k, however much he goes for. Then you got a perfect starting five. You don't really have to touch your starting lineup. Off the bench, I would probably improve your backup point guard. If you want to grind the playoff challenges and get Caruso, and then Caruso will be a lot better point guard compared to LaMelo, or go get Galaxy Opal Denny because he's a much better point guard compared to LaMelo. You could also get a better small forward, maybe get Dark Matter Beasley. Again, if you're using the MT that you got with Wemby, get Beasley for like 300-400k, however much he goes for, just as a stock one, or you could buy a badged up one like I recommended for the last guy. Right, if you want to do that, you could start Beasley, have Tim Thomas off the bench, and then I would maybe look to get a better backup center, whether that's Mark Eden, whether you're grinding for the Rudy Gobert in the playoff spotlight challenges. That's what I would do with your specific squad. But yes, to answer the question, probably the most important thing that you want to know, should you sell Wemby and rebuild your team? Yes, that's what I would do with your squad. I would sell Wemby, and those would be the changes I would make to your team. Now looking at the next squad, guys, sent in from, I'm gonna mispronounce this, so I'm not even gonna try, but he says, need a backup point guard, power forward, center, only got 250k. 250k, honestly, looking at this type of team, I would maybe spend like 150, maybe even 175, and go get Galaxy Opal Denny. If you wanted to save your MT, like a Dark Matter Mono would be good, a Galaxy Opal Andrew Bogut would be good here. So I think if you want to spend a lot of your MT, like if you're trying to spend all 250, I would go get a Galaxy Opal Denny Avia for your backup point guard, or you could start him over Luka and then have Luka off your bench for your backup power forward center position. If we're going down that route, you're probably going to need to either grind for Rudy Gobert. If you have Donovan Clingan, definitely use Donovan Clingan, but I assume you don't have him. So grind for Rudy Gobert in the playoff spotlight sims. If you can't get either of those cards, I think the next center you're probably going to have to go to is like a Roy Hibbert. So I would go probably Roy Hibbert and like Miles Turner as your backup 4 and backup 5, alongside Denny as the backup point guard. Or again, you could start Denny and bring Luka off the bench. Looking at the next squad sent in from Christopher, he says have around 300,000 MT, looking for a good backup center and point guard, getting Caruso from playoff spotlight. So looking at your team, you're saying you're getting Caruso and you want another point guard. I would just run Giddey and Caruso, and those are two really good point guards. So I personally wouldn't look to like upgrade your point guard position anymore. I think Giddey and Caruso can get the job done. Really good shooting guards. I like Paulo. I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Durant. If you're like the biggest Kevin Durant fan and you really love Kevin Durant's card, then sure, you can keep him on your team. But I do think with 300K, there's quite a bit of small forwards you could get. There's the 3 names I'll mention that are all around the same price tag: Luol Deng, AK-47, Tim Thomas. All 3 of those small forward cards range anywhere from like 100K, 150, maybe 200,000 MT at the most on the upside. But I do think getting one of those 3 cards will let you choose. I would probably go Luol Deng or AK personally, because you already have Paul George. If you're getting Caruso, I think you could use like a balance card like Luol Deng AK, because you already have Paul George to run your offense with. So in my opinion, that's who I would go with, Luol Deng or AK. But Tim Thomas is another really good option at the small 4 position. And then you need a backup center. Again, if you can grind for that dark matter Rudy Gobert, I would definitely recommend doing that. If not, you're probably going to want to go Donovan Clingan at center and then look to get a better power forward, whether you get Dino Raja, whether you get Miles Turner, whether you get Jack Sigma, whether you get Bargnani. Those are the power forwards that I would go with, and those would be my suggestions for your squad. Looking at the next team here, sent in from another guy's name I'm going to mispronounce, so I do apologize. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name because I know I'm going to mispronounce it. He says he's got 550 KMT, all are unauctionable besides Mike Miller. Yeah, Mike Miller, Beasley, and his 2 centers. So Walker Kessler, Wang Zizi, Mike Miller, and Beasley are all sellable, and then the other cards are not. I mean, starting 5-wise, Anthony Davis is probably fine for this type of team. 550K, go get yourself Pink Diamond Wemby. Wemby's like 60K. He'll be really good next to Anthony Davis. Have Walker Kessler as your backup center, or whoever you prefer between Walker Kessler and Wang Zizi. So get Pink Diamond Wemby as your starting center. Your backup center could be Kessler or Wang Zizi next to Willis Reed. And then I think the only other upgrade you need is a backup point guard. Again, Galaxy Opal Denny, Galaxy Opal Bogut, even grinding for Caruso I like over Lonzo Ball. So those would be my upgrades to your team. Really don't need much upgrades besides the center position. If you want to get 2 centers, you could get Wemby and then try to go after like a Mark Eden if you're looking to spend all of your MT, or maybe like a Dark Matter Sar, a Dark Matter Chet. If you're looking to spend more MT, those would be cards I would go after as well. And then guys, looking at the last team here, sent in from Armando. I really apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. But looking at the last squad here, guys, 460K MT. Could use some upgrades for sure. I think point guard position, Shay's okay. I think this squad, you could definitely go grind for Caruso. If you don't want to grind for Caruso, even getting like a Galaxy Opal Evan Turner, even getting a Pink Diamond Dyson Daniels is better than Austin Reeves. If you want to make bigger upgrades with 460K, there's always Denny, Bogut, Stephon Castle, you know, those type of point guards that I do think would be a huge upgrade. Let's just say go Stephon Castle and Shea as your 2 point guards. For your 2 shooting guards, I like Nick Young as maybe a backup, but I would get a Men Thompson or Mike Miller to be your starting shooting guard. Small forwards, I like Beasley, but backup small forward, again, I'd probably go between Luol Deng, AK-47, or Tim Thomas as your backup small forward, or you could start them and then bring Beasley off the bench. I think that's all you really need to do, except for maybe get a backup center. Again, Rudy Gobert, if you can grind for that card, I would definitely recommend it, but those would be my suggestions for your squad. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video and you guys did enjoy me improving your guys' teams. If you guys want to be featured in the next one of these videos, like I said, make sure to head on over to Twitter and be featured in one of these next videos, or at least have the chance to, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.